Hi and welcome to another video. Thank you very much for joining me today. I'll be looking at wide angle lenses. Today I'll be focusing on the Canon 10-18, which is absolutely great in woodland settings. So that's where I am today, and at the end of the video I'll drop a gallery of other scenarios that this can be used in. But today I want to go through some tips and techniques for using such a wide angle zoom lens, because what you need to find with the 10-18 in particular is actually you need to look at things slightly differently because of the way that it captures the image. This is a woodland area that I have scoped out a couple of days ago when I was on a bike ride. It's absolutely fantastic. There are some amazing rock formations, trees. The trees are ancient by the looks of things. They're old cork trees and also olive trees here in the Mediterranean. My location is actually the Sierra de Tramontana in Mallorca, the island of Mallorca in Spain. Absolutely stunning location if you ever get the opportunity to come here. Anyway, without further ado, let's move on down into the woods. I'm at the top at the moment. I'll move on down and we'll start to capture the images, and remember, at the end there'll be a gallery. So we're now entering into the woods, the ancient woods. You'll notice the rock formations, absolutely fantastic. So let's go do a little bit more scoping out of the images that we want to capture. One of the things that the super wide angle lenses are particularly good at is, if you look at this angle, we've obviously got a lot of mountains on the horizon, but actually they disappear in the distance and wouldn't make the greatest of images. But what I'm looking at here is, I'm going to get really close to this. It's a bit of a scramble over the rocks, but what I'm looking at is this tree as a foreground. We've got the leading lines of the bark leading us into the distance. So let me get my camera set up and we'll capture this image. This looks amazing. If I can capture this, we'll get some really good leading lines from this really small bush. This is something that you can't really capture correctly without the use of a wide angle lens. We've got the framing of the trees on the left and the right. Right, so let's get our camera out and get our 10-18mm lens on the camera body. Okay, we're using the Canon 90D today, so let me drop the hood in there, get the 10-18 on. I'm also going to put the lens hood on. That'll just cut out any stray lights. It's quite a bright day today up here, so I want to try and cut out. I also am not planning on using any filters, so if I do use any filters, I will let you know for sure. But my current plan is just to show how to use the lens, not necessarily with filters. Here is a classic example of an overhanging tree. What I'm going to be doing is, we can see the tree up there overhanging. The only way you're going to be able to get this kind of image is with a wide angle lens. So I'm going to get this, I'm going to get the camera right underneath. And again, to give you an example, I'm probably about 4 or 5 feet, 1.5 meters from the base of the tree. We're directly into the sun, so it's very bright at the moment. There's some great clouds, but shooting directly into the sun could be tricky here. So what I'm going to be doing is, I'm going to try and silhouette this tree with the mountain in the background. You can see the mountain there in the distance. I think that this is going to be quite a tricky one. It's going to be very high contrast. And one of the things you can do with this lens is get super creative. So what I've noticed is, we can get right underneath this tree for the silhouette, and we can zoom in above, pointing directly into the sun, and that should give us a great silhouette with the sun so bright behind. Let's see what we can do with this, but only this kind of wide angle lens will give you this kind of aspect, to be able to get right underneath the tree. The tree itself is not that big. It's probably only about 2.5, 3 meters total. The first branches are only at about 5 or 6 foot. That's less than 2 meters. So let's get the camera, let's get this camera underneath this tree, and let's check out these images. Okay, so this is an image where you can only really get it using such a wide angle lens. You'll notice the rock structures at the bottom here. We've got the lines, the leading lines, and then above got the tree. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the camera. I'm going to get the camera right in here, right in here, right in the grooves where the rock has been worn by the wind, the rain, and then take it right up to the trees at the top and encompass so that the actual grooves of the rock will act as a leading line. So let's get the camera in here and let's take a look at these images now. So what we've got is an amazing crevasse, weather worn. You can see the grooves in the rock, you can see the moss. It's probably about 5 meters deep, probably 2 meters wide at the widest, but you've got the trees coming out of it, the roots, the foundations, and then we've got an amazing canopy, a tree-lined canopy high up that we can really start to bring in using the 1080 to demonstrate how you can get the width of the landscape in the shot. Here I've found a great setting to test out the aperture. What we've got in the foreground is these rocks really close. You gain about a foot away, 25 centimeters. And then what we've got is a layer of rock with the moss covered rock. Again, we've got the grooves in both layers. Then we've got a third layer of rock just here. And then we've got the trees panning across into the distance as well. It's a little bit backlit, so it's going to struggle on the old contrast here. But let's get the camera set up, and what I'll do is do some aperture tests and just present some images of the various apertures that are capable and how you can blur the foreground and the background to really enhance those images that you're going to be capturing on location. What about when you have something a bit more open? Here we have what looks like a trail. It's actually just an opening in the wood, and the trail is way behind me now. But what we've got is a lot of trees arching over the top of this clearing. Let's just show you those trees a little bit better. So there we go. So there we've got the trees arching over the trail, the opening in the woods. So let's have a little look around. And what I'll do is I'll show you the effects of not just how you can use this to capture this kind of scene as well, but how you can encompass a wider spectrum of images, how you can encompass a wider scene within the image using the 10-18. So let's find a great location and then we'll get some images. And one of the things that I really love to do with this lens is look up. It's absolutely essential to look up. You can create some great effects through the trees, through the leaves, through the actual cloud, the sunlight beaming through the trees and the top cover. Remember, when you've got this camera, you need to learn to look slightly differently and view things slightly differently than a normal lens. I hope that's proven useful. Please remember to stick around for the gallery, which contains a whole raft of other images that have been taken both here and in other locations using the 10-18 lens on the 90D. I do have another video on the 90D, by the way, so check the links in the description below. Thank you very much for watching this video and taking the time to watch it. If you've enjoyed it, if you've got some useful information, please remember to like and subscribe, and let's crack on with the gallery to end the video. And thank you again for watching. Your support is massively appreciated.